Street Racer is a racing game where you take to the tracks alone or with up to 3 other friends, which was published by Ubisoft in 1994. Wow, just look at that Ubisoft logo. You'll have to try to outrace, outwit, and outpummel your enemies in order to be crowned the winner. The controls in Street Racer can take some getting used to. The D-pad controls consist of pressing left and right to steer, up to jump, and down to brake or go in reverse. The B button is your accelerator, the A button performs an attack which hits enemies on both sides of you, the Y button is your turbo button if you have turbo boosts available, and the X button flips the screen upside down in case you want the ultimate challenge. Just kidding, that would be cruel. The X button will actually perform a kind of aura attack which supposedly hits enemies in front of you, but I've seen it hit people to the sides as well. Pressing the L or R buttons will cause your driver to lash out and perform an attack to either the left or right, respectively. There are a lot of kinda generic characters for you to choose from, like Frank, who is apparently the grandson of Frankenstein, Biff, a tough-looking bald dude that wields a baseball bat, and Surf, who has quite an impressive resume, as not only is she the only woman in the Street Racer circuit, she's also good-looking, intelligent, very athletic, travels the world as a freelance photographer, and spends her leisure time swimming, surfing, and performing in a rock band. Like, geez, save some for the rest of us. Each of the racers have their own statistics, so if you'd like to crush your enemies into dust, you may prefer a stronger character like Sumo-san, but if you prefer better handling, you'd probably be better off sticking to someone like Hoja. You have a health bar in Street Racer, and if it reaches 0, nothing happens. Here I am, desperately trying to explode or something, and it doesn't seem to matter at all. The manual says it affects the way your car works, but I didn't notice any difference, and even after completely screwing that guy over and intentionally trying to die, I still ended up in 4th. Speaking of screwing people over, just check this out. I'm way out in 1st, and this track has areas where your paths will cross with other racers. This unfortunate soul, who was already in 6th, smashed into me mid-jump, got knocked back to the finish line, and ended up having to do the entire lap again in last place. Ouch. One look at the gameplay in Street Racer left me immediately drawing comparisons to Super Mario Kart. They both look pretty similar, with Super Mario Kart maybe leaning a bit more into the cartoony side of things. A big difference between the two is how they handle the draw distance. While playing Super Mario Kart, I have no problem discerning which way I'm supposed to go, but in Street Racer, certain tracks look like jumbles of pixels, making it confusing and difficult to anticipate upcoming course corrections. Another difference is that you can collect offensive or defensive items in Super Mario Kart by running over the little question mark spaces, while Street Racer has no such items. There are spaces that you run over to gain power-ups in Street Racer, however. This yellow spot right here will repair some of your damage, while these blue squares allow you to collect turbos, which you then activate with the Y button. There are also these little yellow squares, which are stars, and if you collect the most of them, you'll receive a bonus point at the end of the race. Finally, these squares are mines, which will blast your character into the air and cause some damage, so you'll want to avoid these. The biggest difference between Street Racer and Super Mario Kart is that there is a 4-player mode in Street Racer, which is awesome if you have a multi-tap and 3 friends willing to play a dusty old SNES racing game with you. There are a few different modes in Street Racer, the most interesting of which include the Championship mode with 4 cups: bronze, silver, gold, and custom. These cups represent the difficulty and how many races you'll need to complete to finish the cup. Bronze has 6 races, while gold has 14 races, which is a bit much in my opinion. Custom allows you to make your own cup, which is done in the options menu under custom cup setup. As you can see, there are 20 different tracks to choose from, so maybe you'll set it up to only include your favorites. There is also the Rumble mode, which is a battle mode where you slap the crap out of everyone as you attempt to knock each of them off the platform with the goal of being the last rumbler standing. The final mode I wanted to show is the soccer mode. That's right, it's like super primitive 1994 Rocket League injected straight into your veins. You can use the Y button to shoot the ball in this mode if you can manage to locate it. So, if you can't get enough Rocket League but you're bored of all those fancy 3D graphics, then this is the mode for you. Ooh, I'm running a little long here, so let's get to the summary. Street Racer is honestly a pretty fun game with one big flaw in my opinion. It's the presentation. Not necessarily the way the game looks, but the polish. Winning a race doesn't feel very impactful. It's just a list of competitors and their times. Even winning a whole cup is lackluster. It just shows your static character portrait, your character's name flashes, and that's it. Almost nothing in Street Racer is presented in a flashy or interesting way, and despite all the Mode 7 going on, it just feels kinda flat. If they had spent a little more time adding some pizzazz, character, and flavor to the fun gameplay in Street Racer, I think it could have been a big hit. Instead, I give Street Racer a coulda been a contender. 3 out of 5. From Like Frank, who is apparently the grandson of Frankenstein, Biff, What's a tuck? Even winning a whole cup is last.